Hello, welcome to the Reckoning Brothers podcast. I am Scott, and I'm here with our producer, Josh. Mark is not here, and Mark isn't going to come to these. Josh and I decided there's a few things we like to talk about that we're going to do our own little separate thing. And we sat Mark down and we told him,
He
and he
cried.
cried. He cried a little bit. I was proud of how little he cried, but he said, "Okay, that's cool. You guys do your thing, and then we'll do our main Reckoning Brothers thing too." So this is the Reckoning Brothers side piece, or we're also thinking of calling it afternoon tea. But hopefully you enjoy it because Josh and I have a little bit different set of interests, and sometimes I like to get a little bit more, for lack of a better term, philosophical on some of the things that Mark and I talk about. Josh, I don't know if you knew this. There was an election 3 days ago.
Really?
Yeah, in the United States of America.
I'm
And
that.
yeah, and Chase Oliver and Jill Stein tied, and they're going to be co-presidents. It's going to be amazing. But no, so there's been a lot of reflection on why the Democrats lost so badly and why no one saw it coming. And I've heard a lot of really interesting takes on it even before the election. But one thing I haven't really heard people nail down yet is something I've been thinking about for a while, that the left, or the Democrats more specifically, have become the party that punishes curiosity. And Josh, you and I have talked about before, it seemed like the right, a lot of people said the right and the left have kind of switched, right? It feels like in so many ways what used to be conservative is now liberal, vice versa.
So
But yeah, and it seemed like back when I was younger, the conservatives were oh, you got to believe this and you got to stay within these narrow beliefs or else you're not welcome here. And I don't think that is even close to the case at all. I think it's almost completely flipped.
I
And
think
when you
it definitely used to be, and I'll give you a little bit of analogy to that. The Conservative Party is very much rooted in religion, and
yeah,
a lot of the churches that are associated with the Conservative Party. I won't name my church, but there was a strict set of rules. You couldn't go to a dance, you couldn't play cards, you couldn't go to a movie. All that stuff is out the window now. So it's
and I'm sorry, Josh, but you are a Muslim fundamentalist, correct? I think that's
correct.
what's yeah.
I mean, it's I feel like our church, our religion has let go of those restrictions a little bit. Not all of them, but a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the party has carried those as well, or
Mm.
carried that.
That's a good point because people think, oh, the Republicans are just kind of losing their religious nature, their Christian nature. But I haven't heard anyone say, no, 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 the Christians are kind of changing the party. And that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, because it's not your grandfather's Republican Party, and I can't imagine it's your grandfather's church, be it Methodist, Baptist, Pentecostal, or whatever. It does seem like it's changed and it's more welcoming. Like, can you think of a Christian church besides maybe some real hardcore ones that would be anti-gay? Like, can you think of a Christian church
I,
that wouldn't welcome a gay couple in
I,
2024?
there is going to be anti-gay, but
Yeah,
that's doctrine anti-gay. They're also anti-smoking, anti-drinking, whatever, but they will still accept you. They
yeah.
will still bring you into their flock. They'll still, you know, worship with you. So I don't know if there's a specific one that would be anti-gay and shunning people, but
Yeah.
I tent has gotten bigger.
Gotcha. So everyone at the church is probably not going to approve of it, especially like the older folks and everything. But it would be real out of form for you to be like, you're not welcome here because you're gay. It would have just been like
Yeah,
unacceptable. I,
yeah.
I think and it would be, I think the regular churchgoer would find it unacceptable too. Like if you were just to ask an average churchgoer, like if they were at a church and the pastor said, we're not going to welcome gay people here anymore, I don't think that church would exist. I think that people would just be like, no, there's no way I'm putting up with this.
Yeah, I think it would lose everybody under 50.
I'm going to say 60, but yeah, I would agree, but it definitely 50. But yeah, That's a great point, man. I hadn't thought about it that way before. But
Off into a whole other area, didn't I?
yeah, but I think it's related because now if you go back to thinking about the left not being the open 10 anymore, I mean, if you want to go to
Can we go
any,
into part 3 of our your your initial one where we talked about religion being the now I'm losing my train of thought, but
where religion is basically necessary, like just society is going to fill in the religious hole with something that is
right,
secular religion if there's not a religion.
all ties together.
I think it does. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I imagine going to, if you're going to go to like a just straight Democrat rally, I'm sure you could be a pretty hardcore Christian and probably be fine. But if you start to move just a little bit farther to the left and you're just openly Christian or something like that, they're not going to want you in, I don't think. I mean, that's it's kind of a gray area, but it's just, I don't know, that all seems kind of gross. And I think it's true. Like, or if you have just really any ideas. I mean, look at how badly you're treated by the farther left if you're black and a conservative. It's like you're seen as just this pariah. It's so weird to see. I mean, Larry Elder, Mark and I were talking about him. You know, he got that black face of white supremacy label. And just watching him talking to Charlemagne and just like throwing slings and arrows at the guy. It's just, I don't know. I found it gross. I found it gross. And I think it's just, it's another, it's emblematic of being closed minded. And it's weird that there's like a closed-minded sect that moved from the right to the left. Like if that's true, why is that even a thing? Why can't both parties be open to whoever wants to come and share their fundamental beliefs? Why would you have to shut people out because they're not exactly in line with you? Is it because you're becoming kind of a cult and because you listen to the cultists on your side? You know, I mean, if you're a hardcore progressive intersectionalist, you're basically a cultist, right? So if you don't believe in all of that 100%, you know, then you're a heretic because those cultist beliefs are so easily shown to be silly that they just can't afford to have open conversation because they'll just be destroyed. Maybe it's a self-defense mechanism. Maybe it's a good way to tell which side has the crazy motherfuckers that can't support their beliefs.
Yeah. Well, it's also I think it's a popularity contest. That's what the liberal left is. Whatever, it's a trickle down trending, trickle down trends. So
Mm-hmm.
did a little Reagan thing there. It's
Trickle down economics is it's a great phrase.
yeah. So if the top level says this is cool, this is where our belief system is, it trickles down until we get down to Jeff, who to work with, who has no idea at this point why he even believes what he does.
Yeah.
Because he's just so indoctrinated by the popularity, by the coolness.
Yeah.
That's bothered me a long time. It's just there's the pattern of them following cool, and you become so rigid with that you begin to, I don't know, speak out. But I think that's part of it.
Because I think the danger comes in, everything happens just as you say, you know, the ideas come flowing. I don't know if it's necessarily top down. Like I watched this really interesting video where they're talking about how a meme, because what you're talking about an idea, other people might just call it a meme. That's the trendy phrase, right? That it all starts with what, like, basically like autistic people is how this person phrased it. People that just really just hardcore get involved in these ideas. And then it spreads to online influencers who are the ones that pay attention to these ideas and spread them out over the internet. That goes to the normie audience, spreads out amongst them until it kind of makes its way through to older people. And then in this video, they put the Amish at the end, which I thought was pretty damn funny. But yeah, so the danger, I think, is when you let any of these memes, any of these ideas have a spiritual meaning to you, because then you're getting meaning from these ideas and it makes your mind inflexible. And when your mind's inflexible and you can't look back at your ideas and, look at it from first principles or whatever to try to judge whether it's true or not, then you're just an ideologue or a zealot. And that's dangerous. That's, I think, what true danger is, because then you get all the othering and everything that comes along with that, and all the people hating each other on both sides that we see right now. That's just so gross, even though it's sometimes hilarious to watch those meltdowns on TikTok. I'm sure you've been watching them over the past couple days. But it's still it's funny as it is, it's still sad, because those feelings are real, right? When they're freaking out, like they really think that like the world's coming to an end because they've had all this. What's that?
One of them I saw is, I'm gonna wake up and be a slave tomorrow.
It's
what?
It's insane. Joe Biden said they're going to put you all back in chains. So, you listen to that kind of rhetoric, you might actually think that kind of thing. Yeah. But that it's sad. It's sad. And I do think there's something to the idea of the left has closed itself off because it's listened to the crazy ideologues for too long. Maybe now with this election, they're just going to be forced to be like, we need to tell the crazies to shut the fuck up. We need to tell them.
I think that's a little of the reason why it happened. I mean, there was so much wokeism that the country just needed to self-correct.
In your face, strategically shitty wokeism. Yeah. Like, you can't have an obvious boy run girls' track in high school, destroy all the girls, and think that's going to go over well with the general public or even with the left. It's weird.
Yeah.
It has to feel weird, but women aren't as important as men pretending to be women. I say that kind of jokingly, because I do have gender dysphoria is real. There are people that suffer from that, adults, and there's a non-zero amount of people, maybe that surgery and hormones and stuff like that are the right way forward for them to live a fulfilling life. But also, those people need to understand that they do have a condition. They're not women the best they can be as a trans woman or vice versa, because that's just what it is. And it means that there's no hatred or anything towards those people. I wish them all the best in their life, but you have to have that kind of grace and understand that it's not going to be comfortable, especially women that like J.K. Rowling. One of her big points that she was making, women that have suffered from abuse from men, they're not going to want men around in certain spaces, right? It's uncomfortable. They actually feel unsafe. And if you don't have the grace to understand that too, and you're only championing this one cause, I'm done taking you seriously. I'm done taking you seriously as an adult. It's over. I'm sorry. Like, we need to move on from this. You need to grow up. We need to be adults. We need to start working together. I think next time we bring the subject on, because I know we don't want to make these videos too long, is how much I can't stand men being pitted against women and women being pitted against men, and like this gender war and everything falling, like even the election down gender lines. Because especially with the young people, when I see all that shit, like whether it's an Andrew Tate loving boy or whatever the equivalent is on the left for the women, because it's always a left-right thing too. It's so gross the way they're taught not to like each other, and it's disgusting.
The 4B movement?
Yeah, apparently there was some movement in South Korea that a few thousand women did where they weren't sleeping with men to protest something, and now they're trying to do that.
Yeah, they're trying to do that here now. So pitting men against women is...
Yeah, and it's like, I just, the instinct is so gross to see someone that's different than you or other than you as the bad guy. There are times when there are the real bad guy in front of you, yes. But that's not what happens in normal America day-to-day life. You're going to go a long time without seeing a real bad guy in front of you. You're going to go months, years maybe, without seeing a real bad guy in front of you. You're just fabricating it because you're being told to do so by people with crazy beliefs or people that just want to manipulate you for money or whatever other reason. It's sick, man. It's sick. I want it to stop. So what I'm going to do to put my money where my mouth is as we discussed in some of these, is just try to understand when I'm getting mad at someone for no good fucking reason and realize that, as Tom Bilyeu says, I'm having an emotional experience, and calm down, take it in, and try not to be a fucking asshole. And then hopefully it'll spread on, right? Do our little parts, right? Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's great. I think we can wrap up and like and subscribe.
I keep forgetting to say that. Like and subscribe.
There you
All
go.
right, I will talk to you soon, man.
All right. See ya. Bye.